Hey, I'm so excited to bring you again a monthly update on Clickly. Clickly, it's a professional, collaborative visual development tool that allows designers and developers work together, maybe even in real time, in order to create mobile applications. And this last month, I added some really important stuff that comes in handy very well. First of all, I'm developing the data binding capabilities, and lately added the so-called in-text data binding, or sometimes technical people call it interpolation, where inside the text you can add another like dynamic values. For instance, here I want to, instead of just replacing the entire text with some dynamic value, as I was showing before, now I can just select piece of this value, a piece of this text, and say, okay, I want to use some data source. In this case, I'm using data variables. There will be more others like different system, the device sensors, device storage, some external APIs. But for now, let's start with this one. And then I change the city, let it be this one. And also I can do the same on canvas and on the settings pane. Depends where it's better. It depends on the design, but functionality wise, it's exactly the same. And let's say here, I want to bring it like the state. And then in design mode, in edit mode, you can see which parts of the text are dynamic. So you can click and change the data source. And in the view mode, it's all looks seamless, like it was as a static text. And of course, it all reflects on the code generated, which is pretty nice, simple, and clean. So that's probably the main highlight of the last month. Besides that, also, the text can be formatted. For now, for simplicity wise, there are some limited number of formatting options like bold, italic, underline. So even the data bindable, like the dynamic text can be formatted. For instance, in this case, you can see I made part of the text italic, which also gives a lot of ability to customize and create whatever the designer wants, and the developer can help the designer to bind those data values all together. Besides that, added more React Native core components, which are available now in the toolbar, and worked on their settings pane, so they are pretty well established there. Uh, as you might see, there are like some like components like touchable highlight, touchable opacity, like pressable button. What's the difference between those? And here I owe you an explanation that the way that the approach I built Clickly is from the ground up, which means at first there will be all possible uh, capabilities to customize whatever you want, because each of those components exactly exposes some correspondent React Native core component, which is like basically the foundation of the entire application, technical foundation. Designer not necessarily need to know all those technicalities, but the designer who's developing this application can be aware of some slight differences. Of course, it involves some learning curve. But in the future, once the basic things, more like complex things and more like foundational, that gives you all the possible ways for customizations, once those things will be established, later on there will be more simpler components integrated into the set, And the developers and designers will be able and already able create their custom components, like create use bunch of primitive core UI components, combine them together, and then expose some of the parameters as settings. And here it is. It's a custom component. So similarly, there will be other simplified versions of more complex components. So at the end of the day, the users will receive both full customizability and at the same time simplicity, and even the ability to jump between those two tracks, and for some pieces of the application select more simple way and start with a more simple way using some simpler components. And once it requires some customization, some more advanced things to create, they can easily switch only on those pieces of the design or of the UI of the application to more advanced basic core components. And besides that, also I'm adding some final touches, I would say, that prepares the Clickly itself for the public release. So if you noticed before, the URL was test.clickly.app, and now it's just clickly.app. And I'm working on a very simple, primitive website, some landing page, and some like user journey through the like simple kind of onboarding journey. And you can try it yourself. There are some bumps on the road, but if you uh, really interested, you can already start using it. It's just when you start a new application, by the way, you don't need to log in, you don't need to sign in. When you open the templates, choose this React Native Expo, because there are other experiments I was doing before with different technologies, not even mobile native based, but for the mobile applications, use this last one, React Native / Expo. If you watched this far, it means you really believe in what I'm doing, really interested in a way, and please let me know why. Just text me in response, or put a comment on this YouTube video and just let me know, because I know I'm spamming some people and they're not really interested in that, and that's fine. But if you are among those who watch this 8-minute video, I appreciate you and appreciate your interest, and just let me know. So thank you very much and have a great day.